Yes, it's time I do a real review of Age 3 now that I've had time to analyze it a bit more. I'll admit that the previous review was mainly for my own entertainment and that of my viewers who shared a similar hatred for Generation 3. So, let us start over. It is the year 164 of the Advanced Generation timeline, making it 13 years since Osamu Asano went missing in action. His son Kyo is trained from early childhood by his grandfather Flit to be the pilot of his latest creation, the Gundam AGE 3. With the Vegan forces finally beginning their assault on Earth, the Vegan leader Lord Zelkant reveals his presence to the world. It's now up to Kyo and the new crew of the Diva to finally end the war between Earth and Vegan for good. Age 3 had a tall order to fill after Age 2 ended, but the problem isn't that it doesn't perform as well as Age 2, it's that the show simply fails on multiple levels. Character development that had been building for episodes was destroyed over the course of Age 3, and it really compounded the other atrocious qualities. We got to see Zayark go from a great character to a poorly handled shell of his former self, and many others like Fram, Mullen, Gerard, Azelkant, and Zanald are all poorly handled, unnecessary, or given really shitty endings to their respective roles. As for our protagonists, things are just as bad. Kyo is as bland and boring as Usoevan, but with all the self-righteous flaws and plot armor of Kira Yamato. The kid can't pilot to save his life, relying on Deus Ex Machina upgrades to do it for him. Along with this is one of the most broken Gundams in the history of the franchise, the Age Effects, which not only takes no damage in the episodes preceding the final battle, but even the final battle itself can't put a fucking dent in this thing. Every fight Kyo was in during his run as protagonist was boring. It always ended with him stomping his enemies, using either an upgrade or having a clearly advantageous suit. When he didn't win, the plot made excuses for his inadequacies. My final complaint for Age 3 would be that its animation dropped consistently during fight scenes, and using electric sparks and high-speed light beam fighting to match the poor animation quality. But not all's bad in the neighborhood. Osamu and Flit are actually really well done in their roles, even if Flit's good guy turn is a tad forced in the end. You can still see their sides of the argument and feel sympathetic for both father and son. Even Kyo has his positive points. Oddly enough, he one-upped Kira by doing the pacifistic angle far better. He actually practices what he preaches, by trying to talk down his opponents rather than fight them, and taking extra measures to see that neither ally nor enemy is harmed in the line of fire. Other than characters, the soundtrack is far and away superior than to the previous generations. While compared to other Gundam series the soundtrack is generic sounding, it's still pleasant. Plus, character designs are still on the whole a lot better than when Age started. However, this doesn't change the fact that Age 3 was the worst of the three generations. Any possibility of a satisfying conclusion was crushed underfoot. This generation receives no pardon for its crimes, but what of the whole of Age? What is its role in the grand scheme of things? In all honesty, Age is disappointing. However, I have reflected on this show for a while now, and I have to say this. Age is not as bad as the Seed series, Double Zeta Victory, or even 00 Season 2. As angry as I was back then with my previous review, I cannot in good conscience say that it was as bad as those five. It brought ideas to the table but simply used them improperly. They tried to get too much done in too little time, and it forced them into a corner, which still makes me confident in saying that the third cycle is still the worst of the franchise thus far. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. This is Omega, the final word in all things anime.